Good morning, everyone. So, in the last class, we are trying to identify the exception handling related exams here. So, today we are going to discuss more information regarding our multi-threading concepts here. So, how exactly we can work with the multi-threading in Java. So, to work with the multi-threading, what we need to do, like what are the methods are available in this particular Java language. So, we are going to identify today. So, basically, the Java is going to provide built-in support for the multi-threading programming here. So multi-threading programming is nothing but, so we are going to work with the more than one thread here. Getting the point. So whenever the multi-threading program, it can contain two or more threads, so to work on the concurrent operations here. So it's nothing but simultaneously those operations are going to complete here. Getting the point. So each thread, so each task we are going to have one thread is going to created internally. So how many parts so how many parts of the code is going to execute? Each part of internally one thread is going to created. So to create a thread, what exactly we are going to perform here? And so in multi-threading environment, we are having one class, and along with the class we are having one interface here. So what is the name of the class we are going to create here? The name of the class here called thread. So using the thread class, we are going to create a thread, and as well as using one interface that is called runnable. By implementing this particular runnable interface, we are going to create a new thread here. So we'll see the simple example here, how exactly the threads are going to create it, and based on the threads, how exactly our application is going to run here. So to work on that, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to create one class here, and here, now what I want to do, so simply, and one more package I'm going to create, so that is called Java Technology dot thread here. And after that, what I'm going to do, we'll create a name of the class here, and do current thread demo. Using this particular current thread demo, how exactly we are going to work. So first we'll check, so what is the default thread we are going to get here. So what is the default thread we are going to get. And after that, so we'll try to focus on the more information regarding our thread class here. So observe what I'm doing here. Inside the main method, we are having, as I explained here, thread is a one class here. So which is available in the package called java.line. And after that, what I'm using, one method we are finding that is called current thread. So it's going to return thread object here. So it's going to return thread object. So what I'm going to do, simply we'll try to check here the current thread information here. Something called current thread. Right. And after executing these threads, first we'll try to focus on this particular example. What is the thread we are going to get here? So basically, if we observe, thread is a one class, current thread is a one interface, one method here. Current thread is a one method. But how we are accessing here based on the class name reference. So that we can treat as this is the static method. So where it is defined, this particular static method is defined inside the thread class here. So this is we can easily recognize by seeing the particular line here. What is the purpose of this particular method, and this particular where it is defined, and how we are going to access this particular method. So these all the information is important here. Back to here, if I'm going to run this particular simple example, so basically what I'm doing here, I'm trying to figure it out what is the current thread. So whenever we are running any simple application, so by default one thread is going to start. So that is the thread here, main thread here. Name of the thread, it is the main, and it is a priority 5, and the last one is main, comes under the thread group here. Getting the point. So these three is very important here. Name of the thread and the 5-year priority of the thread, and the last one is the thread group. So basically the thread group having more than one thread here. So based on their priority, the thread is going to allow the particular threads to communicate. Getting the point. We'll see later what are the priorities are available. But observe, whenever we are running simple main method example, so what is the thread is enabling here? By default, the main thread is going to enable here. Getting the point. So this is the way we identify. And now, so we'll try to focus on the what are the methods are available in the particular thread class. So one more method here, what I'm doing here. So using this particular current thread reference set name, we are having set name here. So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to set the thread name here. Instead of main thread, what I will do, my thread. Getting the point. And after thread, what we can do, so we'll try to print one more time. After name change here. Again, I'm trying to call the same reference here, that is called current thread. So if you observe carefully what we are doing here. So initially, so you can easily observe here main 5 and main. But after calling the set name, so whatever the message we added inside the set name, so that is setting as the name of the thread. Getting the point. So after calling this, we are able to see the reflected information here, that is called my name here. My thread. My thread is a thread of the name and priority 5, and the thread group here we are having main. So we'll see later the thread group related information, but observe here. So now one method, so two methods we identified. One is the current thread, which is resides in the thread class, and along with this we are having the one more method that is called set name. And one more method we are going to find here, something called using this particular current thread dot get name. So current thread dot get name. So what exactly it's going to return? The name of the thread, and along with name of the thread, what I am going to do, I'm going to provide the priority of the thread. So to work on the priority, what we are doing is we are going to call get priority, and along with this we are having few more methods. So something called is alive. So whether this particular the current thread is alive or it is terminated, so we can check how we can check. So using this particular is alive method. Now we try to focus on the remaining methods because we are having few more methods which are resides in the thread class. So carefully observe here what are the values we are going to get here. So you can observe after changing up to this we identified, and what is the name of the thread? My thread. And priority we identified 5, and whether this particular thread is still is available or not. So it is returning true, so that the particular thread is available. Getting the point. So this is the way we can check based on the current thread information using the thread class. Getting the point. And one more I want to specify. So observe how exactly we are working here. We are having the one more method here, something called I plus plus and thread dot sleep. So if you observe carefully, sleep is a overloaded method. Sleep is a overloaded method. So how we are identifying it is a overload method? So the name of the method is the same and the parameters having different here. The first one taking millisecond and the second one along with the milliseconds is going to take some nanoseconds here. Right. So we try to focus on the milliseconds example here. To work on that, what I'm going to do, I'm specifying here something around 5 milliseconds. So what you are understanding is, whenever we are calling this particular sleep method, what exactly it's going to do internally? So whatever the current thread we are getting, the current thread is going to sleep up to 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, again, the thread is going to start the process of remaining execution. And if we observe, so sleep is throwing one checked exception here. You can see, so yesterday we identified while developing an application, if it is asking to handle the try catch block or throws, what we are going to do? So it's we treat it as a checked exception. Now it's going to throw some exception called interrupted exception. You can observe here. So whenever we are calling this particular sleep method, it's throwing one exception, interrupted. Basically, while sleeping the current thread, if some other thread is trying to interrupt the sleeping thread, so we may get this kind of exception, something called interrupted exception. So because of this, what we are doing is we are trying to handle using try catch block. So as of now, I'm not going to provide any information regarding this particular interrupted exception. And after this, what I will do, so simply I want to specify I value. I want to specify I value. And here we can define something, some message here inside this particular catch block. So which thread is going to interrupt here? Main thread. So the main thread is interrupted here. So I'm going to run the same example. We observe the second, like something called the I values are going to print with some little bit taken time. You can observe, you can see, so initially we are getting 0, now we got 1, so now we got second, getting the point. So based on this particular 5 seconds of time, what is doing here? It's sleeping 5 seconds, after that it's starting here. After 5 seconds, it's trying to execute, but you can observe the current thread is terminated. But how many values we got it here? 0 to 4. So around 5 values we got it. Getting the point. But make sure the sleep method also available in the particular thread class. So to make the current thread, what we are going to do, we are calling the particular sleep method, and how many seconds we want to sleep, we are going to specify the particular time here. Getting the point. So once the time is completed, what it will do? Automatically it will back to the normal state here. Automatically it will back to the normal state. So basically, so these are about the particular thread, simple thread example here using what are the methods are available in the third class. Getting the point. Now, so as I explained here, basically, so we can check for the, we can go for the thread class as well as we can go for the runnable interface. Right. So we'll try to focus on the simple example using the runnable interface. Later we'll back to the thread class here. But here we are not extending any thread class or we are not implementing any thread class. So simply what we are doing here, we are trying to figure it out what is the current thread we are getting, what is the default. Whenever we are trying to run a simple example, we are finding one thread that is the main thread here. Right. Now, if we observe carefully, I'm going to create a one more class here using the particular runnable interface. What I'm going to do here, So new thread I'm creating it. Using this particular new thread, what I will do, I will implement runnable interface. And this particular runnable interface having only one method, that is called run method. If we observe here, so we are trying to override the run method because it is a interface. So that is we already identified. The interface contain abstract methods. So the abstract method, what we are doing here, we are trying to override is the concrete class. So what is the concrete class here? So that is called new thread. Right. So if we observe carefully, what exactly we are going to do, and internally I'm going to create a one thread object here. Internally I'm going to create thread object. So simply I'm making T here. Using this particular T, basically the thread class having some of the constructors here. So you can able to see how many constructors is having. This is the default constructor. So if the another constructor is taking runnable as a parameter, and one more constructor is taking as a string as a name, something called name of the thread we are going to specify. And here, so one more constructor is having two parameters, is taking a runnable one object, and as well as string name is nothing but is expecting runnable interface along with two name of the thread. So these are the related to thread group related examples. These are the thread group related constructors. So we'll try to check with this particular runnable as well as the name of the thread. So simply for runnable interface I'm making this. So the current class object is referring by default the runnable interface style, because what we are doing here, we are trying to implement from the runnable interface. And here now I'm making name of the thread, so something called demo thread, and whenever we are creating this particular thread object here, whenever we are creating the thread object internally, what we are going to do, we are going to basically the thread method having, sorry, so this code we need to implement inside this particular new thread, inside this particular constructor. Okay, back to here, inside the constructor, whenever we are calling this particular constructor, internally we are creating a one thread object by passing runnable interface object reference, name of the thread. And after this, what I'm going to do, t dot start. So whenever we are calling this particular start method, what it will happen internally, so the particular thread, whatever the thread we created, the thread is going to start. So whenever the thread is started, by this method is going to call internally. Which method? The run method is going to call internally. Getting the point? Right. Now, once the run method is called internally, what we are going to do, we'll try to create whatever we want to print on our console. So if you observe carefully, what I'm doing here, I want to copy this information inside into run method. Getting the point? So basically, the current thread again, so instead of sleeping 5 seconds, what we can do, we'll make 2 seconds. We'll make 2 seconds here. Getting the point? And once it is called this particular run method, what we are doing here, the loop is calling internally, and after calling internally, so this is the different thread. And we'll create a main method. So here I'm going to create main method. Inside the main method, now what I will do, simply new thread. I will call the constructor here. I will call the constructor of this particular class. So once we are calling internally, we are creating the thread. And after that, what I'm going to do, so if you observe carefully, again, I want to use one loop here. So this is different here. Int I is equals to 5, I greater than 0, I minus minus. Right. And after that, what I'm going to do, thread dot sleep. So this thread is going to sleep around 4 seconds. This thread is going to sleep around 4 seconds. We'll try to handle using try catch block. And later, now what I'm going to do, okay, observe here, this is one more thread we are creating, and this code is going to execute by our main thread here. So the main thread is going to sleep around 4 milliseconds. And here, now what I want to do, here I want to specify some message call main thread, some I values. And here, child thread. So this is the child thread. Cutting the point. Now, what I am doing here, basically, we can call this particular message here. If you get any exception, the main thread, here, child thread, and after catch block, what I'm doing here, I'm going to call one more message here. Main thread is existed. Okay. And after this, if you want to specify inside the run method also, you can add the same message here. Okay. Back to here. So again, I'm trying to run the same example here. We'll try to check how exactly. So basically, this is important, the console here. Observe here, whenever we are calling the constructor, what happened here? The particular child thread is started here. The particular child thread is started here. Now, once this particular child thread is started, what is happened internally? The main thread is started. The main thread is printed as a 5, and still the main thread is existing. So later, what happened here? The child thread is went to the sleep mode, and so meanwhile the main thread is executed. Once the child thread is back to here, so while executing the child thread, the main thread is went to the sleep, and after executing this particular sleep time, the main thread is executed. So later on the child thread. So carefully observe here how exactly it's performing internally. So to make sure here what we are doing internally, if I want to explain here, so first this particular constructor will execute here. First this particular constructor will execute. Once this particular constructor will execute, where it will go? It will go to here, the line number 5. Getting the point? The line number 5. Now internally what we are doing is, we are creating one thread object. Once the thread object is created, we are starting the thread. Getting the point? So when this particular start method is called, what will happen? This particular run method will execute here. Whenever the run method is executed, what happening here? So it's trying to execute, like it's trying to print the I value and is went for the sleep. Is went for the sleep. How many seconds is went for the sleep? 2 seconds. And so when this particular current thread is went for the sleep, what happened internally? So it's trying to execute. It's trying to execute main thread here. But if you observe, the main thread is slept around 4 seconds. Around 4 seconds. So compared to the child thread and main thread, so which is taken less time to wake up, the particular child thread is taken less time to wake up from the sleeping mode. So because of this, what happened internally, the child thread is printed 2 times when the main thread is come back to from the sleeping mode. Right after that, the main thread is executed. So this is the way the child thread and main thread are communicating parallelly. So there is no communication between the main thread as well as child thread. Getting the point. So that's the reason I explained. So when starting this particular class, so it's having own path of execution. Getting the point. So these are about the one more example related to child thread as well as main thread. Getting the point. The same example we are going to work with the thread class. The same example we are going to work with the thread class. So initially we are working with the runnable, and if you want to know more information, you can see. So we'll try to check with the later on this. So carefully observe, only one method having, that is called abstract void run method. And you can observe this is the abstract method. Getting the point. Only one method is available in the particular interface called runnable. Okay, back to here. What exactly it is happening here? So we'll try to focus using the debug mode, but in the debug mode, you cannot identify what exactly we are going to achieve. Right. So even though we'll try to check here, now I'm putting breakpoint here. I'm trying to start the debug. So in the debug, what happened? The sleep time, we may get some difference here. So because of that, so we could not identify the exact way of execution when we are working with multiple threads. So if you observe carefully, you can see from this particular 24 line number, it is called the line number 6. Getting the point. So what we are doing internally, we are trying to start. So if I'm going to start, and now you can observe, basically I want to put one more breakpoint. You can observe, see here, all the child threads are executing. You can observe here, we are having 2 threads. We are having 2 threads. So this is child thread. You can observe this is one more thread is started here. This is one more thread. If I'm going to click on this particular F8, so how many threads we are having right now? This particular thread is completed. You can see the child thread already executed. Now the main thread is executing. Even though we put a breakpoint here, it is not stopping one more thread here. It is not stopping one more thread here. So the thread is executing here. If I'm going to run here, all the operations are completed. All the operations are completed. Getting the point. So this is the very, what I can say, basically using this particular debug mode, we cannot get what exactly the threads are executing. So to understand simply what we can do. So initially, whenever we are calling the line number 24, so this particular code is going to execute, and here we are creating one more thread. So basically, when this thread constructor will call, we are having one thread that is called main thread. Getting the point. So one main thread is available. Using the main thread reference, what we are doing here, we are calling this particular new thread. Internally, one more thread is created. Internally, one more thread is created. Getting the point. So if we observe what happened internally. the thread is created, we are calling the start method. Whenever we are calling the start method internally, this run method is going to execute here. Right. The child thread is trying to execute this particular code, and here we specified some milliseconds of time to sleep the current thread. What happened here? Basically, one thread is trying to execute the run method, and along with the main thread also it's trying to execute the code. Right. So this particular code is called, getting the point. So this line of code is executed by the main thread. Once the main thread is executed, where it could back? The line number 25. The main thread is back to the line number 25, and again the main thread is sleep around 4 seconds of time. Meanwhile, so this run method is called by the child thread. It's trying to print the message, and after printing the message, is trying to sleep 2 seconds. So when the 2 seconds of time is completed for this particular child thread, what happened here? So again, because this loop is going to execute 5 times, the particular thread is trying to sleep every time 2 seconds. Getting the point? Every time is going to sleep 2 seconds and keep on executing this particular loop until this condition fails. And meanwhile, same way, this particular main thread is keep on executing until this particular thread is, the particular condition is failed. Getting the point? So this is very important here. When this particular new thread constructor is started, called by the main thread, one more thread is entered into the picture. Getting the point? So this block of code is executed by the child thread. This block of code is going to be executed by the main thread. Getting the point? So this is the way we can identify it. And the same example, we are going to work with thread class here, because we just now implemented the same example using runnable interface. Now we'll try to focus on the using thread class. So to work on that same example, what I'm going to do, so we'll try to check with what is the name we specified for the last example? New thread. So I want to use new thread 2 here, and this particular new thread 2 is going to extend from the thread class. Getting the point? So once it is extended, we don't want to specify any, because it is not a abstract class. Right. And after this, what we are going to do, we'll create one constructor. And after creating this particular constructor, what I'm doing here, so simply I'm going to call superclass constructor with one parameter. I'm specifying something called demo thread. So by default, I'm trying to provide the name of the thread, that is called demo thread. So observe carefully how we are using the super keyword here, because the super we already discussed in the last classes. Whenever we are calling from the constructor the super keyword, what happened here? The super class constructor is going to execute with one parameter. Getting the point? So internally, what happened internally? So we'll try to check with inside the thread class which constructor is going to execute here. If I'm going to check here the thread class here, so you can see the particular thread class having string parameter. The same string only we are passing here. Getting the point? So this constructor is going to execute internally this keyword we are using. So what happened? What is this keyword here? So why they are using this? Getting the point? So this is important, because this keyword also we identified in the previous classes. What it should do exactly with these parameters? Getting the point? with this parameter, one more constructor is going to call. One more constructor is going to call. So we'll check here how many parameters we are having. 1, 2, 3, around 4 parameters. Getting the point. So we'll try to focus on the 4 parameters constructor here. So where we can check here, you can observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess this is the 4 parameterized constructor. You can observe 1, 2, 3 and 4. And here for our case, the thread groups we are making null. The target also we are making null. The name of the thread we specified something, some value. It's like a demo thread. The stack size we specified as a 0. But if you observe here internally, what happened? One more constructor is executing, and with how many parameters here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parameters. With the 6 parameters, we are having one more constructor. So you can able to see. So these are the 6 parameters. Getting the point. So these are the 6 parameters. Basically, whenever we are specifying the name of the thread, we are getting null pointer exception. Getting the point. And so what they are internally, they are assigning the local variable into the instance level variable. And after that, what they are doing, again they are calling current thread. So current thread here, which thread we are going to get? So something called parent is nothing but our main thread we are going to get. Getting the point. Some they are doing some security related information, but now what they are doing here, using this particular parent thread, they are getting the thread group information here, and after that, so they are checking some other operations here. But make sure the calling is very important here. How exactly the constructors are calling internally. Getting the point. Okay, so you can check here. So we are having the sleep. So as I explained here, this is a static method. Is expecting milliseconds and nanoseconds. So along with, we are going to have one more, that is called, this is the one more sleep method, is taking only milliseconds. So this is the native method. The particular native method is calling this sleep method internally. If we are not specifying here, so the nanoseconds is going to take as a 0. Getting the point. So based on that, they are having something, the operation here. So to get something, the illegal argument exception, and if the condition is not satisfied here, it will go back to here. They are trying to do, they are incrementing the milliseconds values here. So this is the way internally the sleep method is going to call. And so this code already, every single line of code we implemented, but only the difference here, based on this particular requirement, they implemented the particular if conditions. And so we have implemented already, this is the post increment operator here. Getting the point. And we identify the AND operator, greater than operators, and everything we have provided here. Back to here, the particular new thread too. So we are calling this particular constructor with the name of the thread. And after executing this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to specify some message, something called current thread, something called child thread. Okay, we can check with what is the current thread. And to specify here, I'm going to call this keyword. Basically, whenever we are trying to extend the thread class, so this class contains the thread class related information, and I'm calling this, so that we are going to find the information of thread class information. And after this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call start method. I'm going to call start method. Whenever we are calling this particular start method, what happened internally? Again, this particular run method only is going to execute internally. This particular run method only executes internally. And internally, so I want to check here something called 5, I greater than 0, I minus minus, So to understand what exactly it's calling internally, so what I'm trying to do here, I want to specify 2000 milliseconds is nothing but 2 seconds. So this is child thread with I want to print the high value. And what is an exception we are going to get? Interrupted exception. So basically to get the particular information, so to find out the particular exception information, we are going to call print to stack trace here. And okay, so if you observe carefully, so this particular run method is going to call by the child thread, and after this what I'm going to do, so after executing this particular catch block, I want to provide one more message, something called child thread still it is existing. Getting the point? Basically, when this particular loop is trying to execute, whenever it is come out of the run method, so this line of code is going to execute. So what is the message we are going to get? Still the particular child thread is existed. Once it is come out of this particular thread, so it's not going to perform any other actions here. After this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call main method here. Inside the main method, calling the constructor here. And after calling the constructor, what I'm doing here, after calling the constructor, so we'll try to check with the try block. What happened? Okay, so we'll try to print the print stack trace. And after this, what I'm doing internally, so we'll try to check with the I value from 0 onwards. I less than 5, I plus plus. And here, this out main thread of I. Later, thread dot sleep. To understand how exactly it's executing, so I'm making this particular thread to sleep here. Okay, let me save the same example here. So carefully observe here what exactly we are going to get when we are working with the thread class. But same thing, the same functionality we are going to get from the runnable interface as well as the thread class. So carefully observe the current thread. So this is we printed when the constructor is called. The constructor is called, that is called name of the thread called demo thread. Name of the thread called demo thread. You can observe after that what happened internally? Main thread is called. Main thread is called. Later, what happening here? The child thread is calling, because while sleeping this particular main thread, the child thread is executing. And when this particular child thread is entered into the sleep mode, the main thread is come out of from the sleep mode, the main thread is executed. Later, the child thread. Because why the child thread is executing 2 times? Because of the sleeping time is less than to the the particular main thread. Now I'm making 4000, and after this, what I want to do here, I want to specify thread dot current thread dot get name of the thread. So we want to find out what is exactly the name of the thread we are getting. The name of the thread we are getting here. Okay, we'll try to run the same example one more time. Observe carefully. You can see main thread is executed, and here you can observe child thread is executed. So that is called demo thread. The demo thread we specified as a child thread, and after that main thread. After that main thread. So after that child, and after that main, and after that child. Getting the point? So now we specified the sleep time for the both threads same time, that is called 4 seconds. So because of this, what happened here? So only one child thread is executing and one main thread is executing. If you observe, instead of this particular demo for making child, you will get a clear picture, something called. Observe. This is the main thread, child thread. Main thread, child thread. So main thread, child thread. Getting the point? So this is the way the main thread as well as the child threads are executing simultaneously. Right. These are about the simple example on the thread class. But when in the which scenario we can go for the runnable interface, and which scenario we can go for the thread class, because the both are performing same functionality. Getting the point? Basically, what I want to explain here, the thread class having some of the specific method, but those information will not available in the particular runnable interface, because the runnable interface having only one method, that is called run method. Right. Basically, if we observe here, the run method is already implemented in the particular thread class. You can check here, the run method is already implemented here. Getting the point? So, but even though the run method is implemented, the thread having some more specific method. The specific method we identified something called name of the thread, priority, set name. So those features will not available in the particular interfaces here. So to work on the default behavior of the thread, we can go for the runnable interface. So if we want to customize something of the particular thread information, we can go for the thread class. So this is the difference between run class as well as the particular thread interface here. Getting the point? So now I'm going to work with multiple threads here. So now carefully observe, to work on the multiple threads, what exactly I'm going to do here. What exactly I'm trying to do here. And here, name of the thread, I'm making something called child thread. So here also we can make something called child thread. And let me copy the current thread information so that we'll get an idea. So how many threads are trying to execute here. And I want to specify observe. Here I'm going to create okay, so instead of specifying here now string name, what I'm going to do, name I'm trying to pass. Here 1, 3. So how many threads I'm creating here? Along with the main thread, I'm going to create 3 threads here. Getting the point. So we'll try to start the same example here. Observe carefully how exactly it's going to work here. So you can see the main thread is executed. Why the main thread is executed? Because what we are doing internally, so the main thread only is going to call the constructor of the particular new thread here. The particular new thread. So later what happened here? Later what happened? If you observe carefully, main thread is executed and after that child threads are executed and the thread here we are getting name of the thread we are getting 2. Even though we call the first thread, but we don't have the order of execution here. We don't have a order of execution. So because of that, the second thread executed first and the first thread is executed second. And now you can observe along with that the third thread also is executed here. So instead of specifying this message, now what I want to do, I want to make it here observe. So this is also we don't want to so that we'll get and understand more clear. Observe here. The main thread is executed and after that 1, 2, 3 because the 3 constructors are called. 3 constructors are called. Right. After calling these particular 3 constructors, what happened here? And so one thread and second thread is executed. Meanwhile, the main thread also executed and later the particular third one also executed. So see here, there is no order of execution here. So they are executing parallelly. So there is no communication between each thread here. And even if you observe here, while creating this particular constructors, they are having one order 1, 2, 3. But after that, the second one executed first, first one is executed second, and between the main thread is coming to the picture. And after that, the third one is executed. So later you can observe 2, 1, 3 values and the name of the thread executed. The main thread is still existing here, so it is called here. It is called here, and you can observe the main thread is returning 4, main thread, so 1 thread. So you can see now there is no order of execution of each thread. So we'll try to get multiple times here. If I'm going to make the same 4000, we'll get some order here. Basically, each thread is going to sleep 4 seconds of time. Each thread is going to sleep 4 seconds of time, and you can observe all the main thread is executed. After that, 3 constructors are called and all the threads are executed. And you can see all the threads are executing at a time. All the threads are executing at a time. So this is the way we can work with the multiple threads here. And now what I want to do here, I want to check one more example here. So whether these particular threads are available, like still they are available, or the threads are terminated or not. So how we can check here? So that's I already explained something called is alive method. Using is alive method, we can check whether the particular thread is available or not. And one more method we are having, join method. So what it will do, basically whenever we are going to call this particular join method, the current thread is going to stop, the current thread is going to terminate. So until the termination, it's not going to do any operation. So in that case, we are going to call the join method. So whenever we are going to call, the join method is going to wait until the termination of the current thread. Getting the point? So carefully observe here. We are going to work with the same example here. We will check with now. I'm creating three threads here. After creating this, getting the point? After creating these particular three examples, what I'm doing here, so initially I'm checking whether these particular threads are available or not. New thread dot is alive. I'm going to call second one as well as third one. Right. And after this, what I'm going to do? Getting the point. So internally, what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to wait this particular main thread. So we'll try to keep some time to comment here. And here, I'm going to call t dot join method. T dot join method. So 2, 3. So what exactly I'm doing here? Whatever the three objects we created, internally, the three threads are going to start, and we are checking initially whether this particular three threads are available or not. And after that, what I'm doing here, I'm going to make each thread as a waiting state, so that each thread is going to terminate it. Each thread is going to terminate it here. And I don't want to use this particular loop also. Okay, and after this, I'm trying to call the same methods. I'm trying to call the same method outside of this particular catch block. Outside of this particular catch block. So carefully observe, this is very important here. Now, what exactly we are doing here? We are creating three threads here. We are making whether these particular three threads are available or not. And after that, we are calling the join method. Whenever we are calling the join method, what happens internally? So based on the name, current thread is going to wait, and so the current thread is going to terminate. Getting the point? Until the termination of the current thread, the join method is going to wait. So now, if I'm going to save this example, you can observe here. So we'll try to focus here. Meanwhile, you can check here. One true we identified here. The second true we identified here. The third one we identified here. Internally, what happening here? So all the threads are executing simultaneously. The run method is here. Now you can observe the last we are getting false here. Why we are getting last false? Because of what we are doing here. By using the join method, we are trying to terminate the each thread here. Using this particular join method, we are trying to terminate the each thread here. So these are about the simple example of join method as well as is alive method. So any questions regarding this particular join as well as is alive method? Okay. So the remaining concept we'll try to continue in tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow. We are going to communicate on Monday. So basically, so we need to complete the priority of the threads. So how exactly the priorities are going to work. And after completion of the priority, we are going to work with the synchronization. And in the multi-threaded environment, how exactly we are going to work with the synchronization. Later, how we can work with the inter-thread communication. So using, as I explained, the object class having the methods called wait and notify all method. So all these three methods we are going to check, and after that we are having some of the specific methods which are available in the particular thread class. So something called suspending a thread and stopping a thread. So this information we are going to discuss. So these are about the multi-threading environment. So we'll try to complete by Monday class. After completion of multi-threading, so we'll try to focus on the Java 8 features. So how exactly the default method, the static methods are introduced in the Java 8. We are going to discuss. Okay. So if we don't have any questions, we'll try to complete the today class and we'll continue on Monday.